It has been way too hot. Let's talk about the dry season. During the dry season, the heat is a constant, and there's no real way to get away from it since there's no AC. It can be discouraging and even feels like it seeps down into your soul. If the wind does blow, it feels like a hairdryer. Under normal circumstances, people get pretty desperate, but during the dry season, the fields are barren, food is in short supply, and water is constantly a problem. People have to walk up to 1 kilometer to go and get water, and even then they have to stand in long lines. It can be dangerous for aid workers during this time because a crowd of hungry and desperate people can get out of control, even when people are trying to help them. I was recently in Tika Zone and even saw 2 young children fighting over what was left of an unripe mango. I tell you what, that kind of stuff just tears out your heart. On a recent trip to the rhino camp, I saw a bunch of people digging in a dry riverbed to get to some water. You never realize how much you use water or how much you need it until it's gone. Even here in Arua, you can have lots of problems with water during the dry season. They cut it off, and so you have to be very conservative on how you use your water. I've been thinking a whole lot about this note that my sister gave me right before we left the States, and it quotes Isaiah 58:11. It says this, "The Lord will guide you continually, giving you water when you are dry, and restoring your strength. You will be like a well-watered garden, like an ever-flowing spring." That is such a great promise for us because honestly, it's hard to stay emotionally charged and ready to go when you're dealing with so many heavy things, talking with refugees who have lost family members and experienced so many horrendous things. And as our friendship deepens with them, they're giving us insight into those parts of their lives. And so we need Christ to be refilling us in that way, and He is so good to do that. But we also need to know how to balance our lives and to not become people who are brittle and emotionally drained and not able to continue to pour out our lives for the sake of the gospel in these places where people so desperately need to know the love and the hope of Christ. When you leave Arua, there is a harsh cutoff between the pavement here and the really rough roads that lead out to Rhino Camp. There's a juxtaposition between our lives here in Arua and what the people face out there in the camps. And that's really the life that we live here. They're very high highs and really low lows, and it can keep you off balance. And so it's so important to be able to be filled with the Spirit and to live in a way that you are being constantly refilled. And so that's something that you can pray about for our team. That's something you can pray about for us personally as we continue to go out and as we continue to pour out our lives for the people in the refugee camps so that they might know Christ and might deepen their walk with God. But most of all, pray for the refugees, that God's Spirit will rain down on the spiritually thirsty and dry land. Thank you so much for taking time to pray for us, to watch these videos. If you would, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We'll continue to do these, so we'll see you in another 2 weeks, and leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you.